the purpose of this video is to just encourage you guys to save money. Hi everyone, my name is Hlubi and this is the first episode of Hlubi's Corner. So what I do is I want to share with you how I was able to save over 50,000 Rand whilst I was in varsity. Just for a quick background story, I matriculated in 2014, matriculated with an aggregate of 86%, or was it 87? I'm not sure, it's somewhere around there. And upon applying to varsity, I applied to UKZN to study business science, and when I was going to register now the following year in 2015, I was then told that because of my aggregate, I actually qualify for a scholarship or merit award. So now this merit award, I think it was initially 15,000 Rand, and it was later converted into a free Ginwala scholarship that was awarded to me in first year worth 20,000 Rand, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but I think it was 20,000. So 15,000 then was later converted into a 20,000 Rand amount. So in first year, in 2015, I did not have funding. I hadn't applied in matric, which is very stupid. I don't want to call myself stupid, but it was a very foolish move that I pulled, because I had pretty good marks in grade 11 and I could have applied for a bursary, and I was given forms by my teachers in matric, and I procrastinated. But anyway, so first year I didn't have funding, but I got that scholarship award, and the surplus amount that was around 15 or 13,000. I don't remember, but my parents were able to cover that amount for first year. But I knew that going forward, I needed to get myself funding so that I don't have to burden my parents with having to pay for my fees when I could actually... Okay, so in first year, I was able to obtain funding. I landed myself a bursary, and this bursary was a partial bursary initially in second year. Oh, and I'm sweating. It was a partial bursary initially in second year, and it was later on converted into a full bursary because of the whole fees must fall movement that the youth, the young people of our country came together and stood up against. And so our bursary, in light of that situation, converted all of our, irrespective of which varsity you were in. And so after getting my funding, I then decided about, okay, already from my partial bursary, the amount that I was getting as an allowance was more than enough. It was more than enough in terms of what I needed at that time. And so I knew that I could start saving some of the surplus amount. You guys, I'm sweating, hey? Okay, so I knew that I could put away some portion of the allowance into my savings account and save my money. So initially, and I know a few people will judge me for this, but initially when I thought of the fact that I could actually save this amount of money, I knew that I wanted a car. I initially wanted a Corsa Light in fourth year, because I heard stories about how stressful honors year is, and about how students often spend a lot of time at the school library studying, pulling all-nighters and all of that. So I thought, okay, so if I can save this amount of money, and I know that school's gonna end up becoming super demanding, I should be able to have like transportation for me and my friends, so that we'll be able to go to varsity, to a campus, and go and pull all-nighters, study. And mind you, I don't think I mentioned this, I was still living at home in first year and second year. So that changed. All of that changed in third year when I started to think about what is going to actually happen to me after I graduate. I think in third year, a lot of us are confronted with the reality of the fact that not all of us are going to find jobs after we graduate. That's the first thing. Number two, I knew that I have a passion for working with my hands, and I had already started my business, and I think in the second year it was only called varsity, and I was selling headscarves, head wraps, amaduku, whatever it is that you call it, and that's what I was doing. In third year, I converted my business to New Creations varsity, where I started to make garments. Initially it was just off-shoulder tops, and I was literally just learning. I'm an amateur, but I enjoy working with my hands, and I enjoy making things and seeing garments, fabrics come and morph and come into form, you know. So I started thinking, okay, if I could continue saving imali by the time I graduate, if I don't find a job, then I know that I can just use this money to push my business 100%, because I was doing it part-time, and I had a lot of support from my friends who I was living with in third year. So in third year, I'd moved from home and I was living in a commune in Varsity Drive, and that's where the whole passion, okay, I wouldn't say passion, but that's where my interest of sewing and my business was birthed. It was birthed at a commune that I was living with a group of friends that I had who were really supportive to me. And I started thinking, okay, if I can continue saving, then I could potentially push my business after I graduate if I don't find a job. Now, I think it's important for me to clarify that, like in terms of the amount that I was getting. So once my bursary was, I don't actually remember what my initial allowance was, and my bursary was partial because it varied. But after it was converted to a full bursary, I was receiving 4,000 Rand each month. I know that in third year and fourth year, I was getting 4,000 Rand each month. And for me, that was a lot of money, because I'm a proud cheapskate. And so which meant that I didn't need a lot of money. Like, I always find cheap ways to have fun. And I think for me, fun does not necessarily equate to you spending a lot of money. You can experience a lot of great stuff without actually coughing out a whole lot of money. But anyway, I digress. So I was able to save 3,000 Rand out of the 4,000 Rand each month, and the 1,000 Rand I used to pretty much like take care of myself, like buy stuff, groceries, whatever it is, because I was living at a commune. And also, like, I was able to spoil my mom as well. On her birthday, I think it was her 50th birthday, like I bought her like really huge appliances at home, and it was such a triumphant moment for me, seeing how my discipline with money is actually now benefiting all of us. And so my final year was in 2018, and before I wrote my final exams, I already knew where I was going to work. I had landed a graduate program in Western Cape, so I had to move to Cape Town. Now this is where the need or the fact that I was able to save so much of money came in hand. Coming down to Cape Town, I was now faced with the fact that I'm moving into a city far from family, and I had quite a bit of a commute traveling from my place to work, and I needed transportation. Taxis in some parts of Cape Town are really scarce, and being new in this place was not it was difficult for me to come to grips with the fact that I was now going to have to learn a whole like the way that taxis operate here, because they're really different from how taxis operate in eThekwini, in Durban, where I'm from. And so I was now faced with the fact that I needed to get a car. I need to get a car, I need to pay for a deposit for my flat. But let me just quickly emphasize that when I got a flat, I wasn't living alone. So I moved in with a friend of mine or a co-worker of mine, and we had to raise, I think our total deposit was 18,000 Rand. So we had to come in half and half on that. And then as well as furnishing our apartment. So the extreme basic stuff, your bed, your bedding, a table and a chair for me was important because I work a lot or I study after school, in terms of upskilling. So I upskill when I'm at home. Oh brother. So I upskill when I'm at home, so I needed a table and a chair, as well as like the huge kitchen appliances, your fridge, your microwave, washing machine. Those type of things are important. And I think for me, I when I now look back and I look at how saving and the culture of saving has really come up for me, how it's really helped me in my journey as a young professional, as a young person who's now faced to move from Durban to Cape Town to pursue a career, coming down here, and my 50,000 Rand really came in handy. I was able to pay for deposit for my car. I think I put a down payment of 20,000 Rand. Now a lot of people might argue with me about that, but why would you do that? You could have a balloon payment. No. I didn't want a balloon payment. And because I had chosen not to have a balloon payment, my monthly fee was more than what I had initially budgeted for myself in terms of what I wanted to pay for a car each month. So now remember, you have to pay for a car, your car installment as well as your insurance installment as well. And I had already budgeted, like, well, this is how much I'm willing to pay for a car, this is how much I'm willing to pay for my insurance, after doing extensive research obviously. And after speaking to the guy who was helping me, we came to an agreement that I would put a down payment of 20,000 Rand in the hopes of me going to get a slightly lower amount in terms of a vehicle loan. And so that's what I did, and that helped me. And the remainder of the money I used for my deposits and for furniture, as well as appliances. Now, the real purpose of this whole video is to just encourage you to save. I know that in varsity we are faced with really different situations. Some people get NSFAS, some people have bursaries, some people have scholarships, and some people have allowances from different type of relatives as well as their parents as well. Some even getting allowances from siblings, older siblings who are working. And I know that this is not the situation for everyone. There are some people who don't get any sort of income or any allowance or whatever coming into the accounts every single month. But for those of you who are, okay, I think it's important for you to start thinking about what is going to happen to me after I graduate. I think it's very irresponsible for us to be getting about 5,000, 4,000, 3,000 Rand, 1.5, 1.8, 2,000, whatever amount it is that you get, but to just chow lo mali for 4 years straight or 3 years straight, and after you graduate, and now in the event that you do actually struggle with getting umsebenzi and stuff, it becomes really difficult now to have to rely on your parents again for things like getting imali to go and print out CVs, go for interviews, get clothes for interviews and all of that. I think it's very irresponsible for us as young people, and I'm not saying this to condemn anyone, but I hope that my story inspires you as well to look into your finances, to look into your pocket, and to see about, okay, like from this amount that I'm getting, maybe I could put 500 Rand aside, or 1,000 Rand aside, or whatever amount, even if it's 100 Rand, go away, whatever amount it may be. But consider putting some sort of money aside. It's really, really, really a good habit to learn. It's a good thing to learn as a young person how to handle imali. And I think from now, I've also seen just how God has really entrusted me even with 100 rands. And now if he can trust you with 100 rand and you're able to use that money right, imagine how much more he can trust you with. And so if you are reckless with 100 rand or 1,000 rand, uzobanjani when you start getting 10,000 rand, 100,000 rand. So yeah, just be encouraged to save imali, draw up budgets, whether you're writing paper with actual pen and paper, or whether you are fancy like some of us who use Excel. But yeah, make financial decisions that are forward thinking. If you're in your second year, if you're in your third year, start being serious about your coins. Be serious about imali yako, because really nobody else will. It empowered me financially to know that I am actually able to save imali and jena. I'm actually able to save and have a plan. Save and have a plan. Save and put a goal for that specific money. Don't be foolish like ours, where the initial plan was to get a car. I think getting a car in varsity is not necessary. I survived 4 years with no car. And I think also it's important for me to also say that if I had landed a job in Johannesburg instead of Cape Town, I probably wouldn't have bought a car. I would have been using a train or whatever. I probably wouldn't have bought a car so early on in my career. I really wouldn't have, but it is what it is, and I encourage you to save money, be serious about your coin, and I'm really hoping that the story inspires you. Thank you.